Most men think they're being rejected because they're not confident enough, not attractive enough, not impressive enough. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody tells you. It's not that you lack confidence. It's that you don't control yourself. Your emotions leak into everything you do. Your tone, your reactions, your need for approval. And people feel that before you ever open your mouth. If you've ever wondered why you're overlooked, why attention fades, or why respect feels just out of reach, it's not bad luck. It's self-mastery you haven't claimed yet. From the time you're young, you're fed a simple story. Be more impressive. Say the right things. Stand out. Make her laugh. Show her why you're different. And on the surface, it sounds logical. If attention is the goal, then performance must be the answer. So men try harder. They talk more. They give more. They shape-shift into whatever they think will be accepted. But here's what that lie costs you. The more you perform, the more you live in your head. You start tracking reactions, reading signals, adjusting yourself in real time. And without realizing it, you hand over control of your emotional state to someone else. Approval becomes the reward. Disinterest becomes a threat. What no one explains is that this constant self-monitoring creates tension. And tension is felt. Not logically, emotionally. People don't reject the effort. They reject the instability behind it. The truth is, attraction doesn't grow from trying harder. It grows from someone who isn't trying to prove anything at all. Most men don't fail loudly. They fail quietly. On the outside, everything looks fine. They're functioning. They're polite. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But internally, there's a constant noise. Second-guessing every message. Replaying conversations. Wondering if they said too much or not enough. Their mood rises and falls based on attention they don't fully control. This is the part nobody warns you about. You can follow all the advice, say the right things, even get initial interest, and still feel powerless. Because the real struggle isn't getting attention. It's keeping your center when attention becomes uncertain. When a reply takes longer. When energy shifts. When silence shows up without explanation. In a world of social media, dating apps, and endless comparison, this silent failure has become normal. Men are overstimulated, emotionally exposed, and constantly reacting. And while nothing looks wrong on the surface, something underneath is fractured. Stability, presence, inner authority. And the moment that cracks, people feel it, even if they can't explain why. Here's what separates the men who stand out from the men who blend into the background. And it has nothing to do with looks, money, or clever words. It's emotional control. Not the fake kind where you suppress everything, but the kind where your inner world isn't hijacked by every external shift. When someone is emotionally steady, their presence changes the room. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't flinch at uncertainty. They don't chase reassurance. And that calm sends a signal most people aren't even consciously aware of. Safety, grounding, leadership. The opposite is just as powerful. When a man is reactive, people feel pressure. His energy asks for something: approval, validation, certainty. And even if he's saying all the right things, that unspoken need creates distance. Not because he's wrong, but because instability is exhausting to be around. This is why emotional control is the real differentiator. It's invisible, but it shapes everything. How you speak, how you listen, how you respond when things don't go your way. And once you see this, you realize something important. Attraction isn't built by adding more. It's built by removing the chaos inside you. When most people hear the word stoicism, they picture emotional numbness. A man who feels nothing, reacts to nothing, pushes everything down and calls it strength. That image is wrong, and it's one of the biggest reasons men misunderstand real self-mastery. Stoicism was never about killing emotion. It was about refusing to let emotion run your life. It's the discipline of choosing your response instead of being dragged by your impulses. Feeling anger without exploding. Feeling desire without chasing. Feeling disappointment without collapsing inward. This is where most men get stuck. They think control means pretending not to care. But pretending creates tension. Suppression leaks out as bitterness, passive behavior, or quiet resentment. True Stoic strength is cleaner than that. You acknowledge what you feel, then you decide who's in charge. And here's the shift that changes everything. The moment you stop trying to control outcomes and focus on controlling your frame, you become grounded. You stop negotiating your self-worth moment to moment. You stop reacting to every signal. And without forcing anything, people start responding to you differently. Every real transformation hits a moment where something inside you breaks, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, irreversible one. It's the moment you realize how much of your behavior has been driven by the need to be liked. How often you've adjusted your tone, softened your edges, or abandoned your standards just to keep someone interested. Detachment from approval doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop bargaining with yourself. You stop measuring your worth by reactions, responses, or reassurance. And that shift is uncomfortable at first because it removes the emotional safety net you've relied on for years. This is also where most men turn back. Because once you're no longer chasing validation, you're forced to face yourself honestly. Your values, your boundaries, your discipline. But on the other side of that discomfort is something rare, self-respect that doesn't fluctuate. And here's the paradox most men never expect. The less you need approval, the more weight your presence carries. You're no longer asking to be chosen. You're choosing how you show up. And that internal shift quietly changes how the world responds to you. Once approval is no longer your goal, the way you speak naturally changes. You stop searching for the perfect line. You stop rehearsing responses in your head. You stop talking just to keep momentum alive. And without trying to, your words begin to carry more weight. Most men are taught to think communication is about saying more, being clever, being entertaining, filling every gap with noise so nothing feels awkward. But silence isn't a weakness, it's a mirror. When you're grounded, you don't rush to fill it. You let moments breathe. And that alone shifts the dynamic. This is why scripted confidence always feels off. It's not the words that matter, it's the state behind them. A calm sentence, spoken without urgency, lands harder than a perfectly crafted speech driven by need. When you speak from steadiness, people listen differently. And here's what almost no one tells you. The most powerful communicators aren't trying to be impressive. They're present. They respond instead of react. They say what they mean, then they stop. That restraint isn't emptiness, it's control. When your inner world stabilizes, your body follows. Not because you're thinking about posture or body language, but because tension has nowhere left to hide. You move differently when you're not bracing for judgment. Slower, cleaner, more deliberate. Most men don't realize how much anxiety shows up physically. Rushed steps, shifting weight, restless hands, eyes that dart instead of settle. These aren't flaws, they're signals. Signals that the mind is ahead of the moment, trying to control what hasn't happened yet. Self-mastery pulls you back into the present. You stand where you are. You take up space without apology. You make eye contact without trying to dominate or disappear. And because nothing in you is scrambling, your presence feels solid. This is what people respond to. Not exaggerated confidence, not forced dominance, but composure. When you move with intention instead of urgency, you communicate something rare. You're not overwhelmed by the environment. You belong where you are. And that quiet certainty is felt before a single word is spoken. No matter how disciplined you become, life will test you. Dates go awkward. Plans fall apart. People pull away. Things you expected to work out suddenly don't. Most men panic here. They overcompensate. They try to fix everything. They chase results like their worth depends on it. A Stoic man responds differently. He notices what's happening, acknowledges the feelings it brings, and then chooses his response. He doesn't allow external chaos to dictate his inner state. The awkward conversation, the missed opportunity, the fading attention, they're events, not judgments on him. This is the real differentiator. When nothing goes your way, most people shrink or scramble. A man grounded in self-mastery remains centered. He doesn't over-apologize, he doesn't overreact, he doesn't beg for control he can't have. And here's the paradox. The less you chase outcomes, the more influence you quietly gain. People lean into stability. They respond to calm rather than frenzy. The moment you stop trying to control every result, you reclaim authority over yourself, and suddenly situations start shifting toward you without force. After all the small shifts, controlling your reactions, detaching from approval, moving with intention, you reach the point where nothing shakes you. Not a canceled plan, not criticism, not uncertainty. You become unshakable. Your value is no longer measured by others' recognition. It's anchored in your own standards, your own presence. This is where transformation turns from theory into reality. You stop overthinking every interaction. You stop trying to predict outcomes. Your calm becomes contagious. People feel it even before they hear your words. And the more grounded you are, the more they lean in, not because you forced it, but because you become magnetic by simply being steady. The power here isn't flashy. It's quiet, invisible, but it's undeniable. You carry weight without effort. Your influence grows because you respond instead of react. You create space instead of filling it with noise. And in that space, respect, trust, and attraction emerge naturally, almost effortlessly. Becoming unshakable isn't the end of the journey. It's the foundation for everything else. Relationships, career, self-respect, even joy, all flow from this internal authority. And once you've claimed it, the world starts responding to the version of you that never wavers. Here's the truth most men never discover. The world responds to who you are far more than what you do. Mastery over your mind, your emotions, your presence. It creates a quiet power that no flashy words, tricks, or strategies can match. This power doesn't demand attention. It earns it naturally. When you stop chasing validation, stop negotiating your worth, and stop reacting to every shift around you, you reclaim yourself. You become the calm in the storm, the rock others rely on, the person whose steadiness inspires trust without effort. And that steadiness ripples into every corner of life, your relationships, your work, your ambitions. The practical takeaway is simple, but it requires courage. Regulate yourself before trying to regulate outcomes. Measure your progress by the strength of your presence, not by how others respond. Detach from what you can't control. Commit to the standards you can uphold. And then live from that place consistently. Because the rarest, most magnetic power in life isn't loud. It's quiet. It's earned. It's grounded. And it's yours the moment you choose to stop being a reflection of what others want and start being the man who commands the world by mastering himself. If this perspective shifted the way you see yourself, stay here. This channel isn't about tricks or shortcuts. It's about building real influence, confidence, and resilience from the inside out. Subscribe, and let's continue mastering the kind of presence that transforms your relationships, your career, and your life. Step into that quiet power and watch how everything begins to respond to the man you're becoming.